Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of The Rundown with the Cowboy Crab. I am the Cowboy Crab, and on today's episode of The Rundown, we're going over the Season 37 playoffs. Playoffs just came to a close, I believe yesterday. Or 2 days ago. It was one of them. I think it was yesterday, though. And, well, yeah, Victory Bowl 37 in Oklahoma City is officially set. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. But first, we got playoffs to go over. We'll start from the play-in games. They technically count as playoff games. We'll get to the wild card round, divisional round, conference championships. Then we'll get to the Victory Bowl matchup. My thoughts on that, who I have winning. And then we'll go from there. But let's start with the play-in games. We'll start in the Western Conference. So the number 7 seed Alderite City Bucks took a loss to the 10 seed Roblox Warriors 32-29. The Warriors getting the upset in that one. And the other play-in game in the Western Conference, the 8 seed Olympia Sky Kings beating the number 9 seed Oklahoma City Twisters 69-48. A high-scoring affair. Nonetheless, now in the Eastern Conference, the 7 seed Miami Bolts beat the 10 seed and first ever team to go into the playoffs with a losing record, Roblox Snowhawks 45-35 in a 10-point game. And then your second play-in game in the Eastern Conference, the defending Victory Bowl champion Florida Firecats, also the number 8 seed, destroyed the Newark Destroyers 48-14. Newark was also the 9 seed, in case I didn't say it earlier. Now let's move on to the wild card games. We'll start with the Western Conference again. We'll go to the Eastern Conference. Starting in the Western Conference, the 1 seed Sunbursts beat the 10 seed Warriors 66-28. The 2 seed Rattlers beat the 5 seed Rams 62-35. The 3 seed Aztecs lose to the 6 seed Barton Bruisers 38-32 in a 5-point game. And lastly, the 4 seed Raiders beat the 8 seed Sky Kings 80-64. Pretty interesting playoff games from the Western Conference. Now in the Eastern Conference, the 1 seed Punishers beat the 6 seed Freedom 35-28. The 2 seed Dragons lose to the 4 seed Bolts 44-14, a 30-point game. The 3 seed Phoenix beat the 5 seed Knights 34-28. And lastly, the 4 seed Sentinels beat the defending Victory Bowl champion Florida Firecats 42-35. In the divisional round, the 1 seed Sunbird back to the Western Conference. So now the 1 seed Sunbirds beat the 6 seed Bruisers 60-44, and the 2 seed Rattlers beat the 4 seed Raiders 50-43. In the Eastern Conference, the 1 seed Punishers beat the 7 seed Bolts 50-25. And in the Eastern Conference, the number 3 Phoenix lose to the 4 seed Sentinels 34-39. In the OWC Conference Championship game, the number 2 Rattlers get the upset win over the 1 seed Sunbirds 38-35 off a last-second field goal. And your Eastern Conference Championship game, the 1 seed Punishers win a double overtime over the 4 seed Sentinels 57-50 in a incredible playoff game. Probably your best game of the regular season, leaving your Victory Bowl 37 matchup in Oklahoma City. The number 2 Rekshire Rattlers and the number 1 Pemberley Punishers. Ladies and gentlemen, I may have not got the entire Victory Bowl game down, but I finally got my first. I predicted when the playoffs initially started, I predicted Pemberley Punishers out of the Eastern Conference, and they get out of the Eastern Conference and make it to the Victory Bowl. Congratulations, Pemberley. Not only do you end the second longest active Victory Bowl drought in OFL, you also may have broken the crab curse for the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference crab curse is probably still in effect. We'll see if the crab curse is still completely in effect, because I predicted the Punishers to originally win in the last episode of the rundown. But as for the Rattlers, Well, your first Victory Bowl appearance in franchise history. You're the first ever Canadian team to appear in a Victory Bowl. No one could take that away from you. And you are led by one of the greatest OFL quarterbacks to play the game, in Kelvin. So how I see this game going is Pope and Kelvin are going to be having a shootout. Pope obviously playing a little more grounded game against the Sentinels, but I think you're going to see that, but you're also going to see him make the big plays when he needs to. And Kelvin, he's known for big plays. He's been to several Victory Bowls before, majority of them, if I remember correctly, being with Tuscaloosa Thunderbirds. But this time he's taken a franchise to their first ever Victory Bowl. And in my opinion, I think for the guys that have been longtime Rattlers, never been to a Victory Bowl once, now being the first ever Canadian team to be in a Victory Bowl, the first ever franchise appearance in a Victory Bowl for the Retshire Rattlers, in my opinion, I think the pressure is going to get to those guys. I think Kelvin will be thinking this is another game, another ring to add to his fingers. But I think for those Rattlers guys, I think this pressure is going to get to them, and I think that's what's going to cost them the game. So the Pemberley Punishers, not to mention, are undefeated in Victory Bowls. And I think they're going to continue that streak. Pemberley Punishers are going to be winning a high-scoring affair here, I believe, but maybe the highest scoring Victory Bowl as far, probably, in my opinion. I think I'm going to take a final score of 56-48. Pemberley Punishers get their fourth ever franchise appearance, fourth ever Victory Bowl win. And for the Rattlers, I mean, Kelvin's going to do everything he can in the win, but I think the Punishers, I think they're overall just a better team. They looked great against the Sentinels. I didn't see really any issues outside of maybe like one or two minor mistakes they might have made, but I couldn't tell you any major mistakes I saw that they made. So I think the Punishers are going to be going into Oklahoma City, probably the underdogs, since the Rattlers have Kelvin. But hang on, let me just check to be sure. Yeah, right now they're not the underdogs by much, but they are still the underdogs. They were the underdogs in the conference championship game, and they got here even as the 1 seed. But I think the Pemberley Punishers, not only do they get their fourth, they remain undefeated, and they have an incredible game. So yeah, am I picking them a little bit just because I predicted them to make it here? And they're the first team to do that out of the prediction to make it here? Maybe. Just a little bit. But aside of that, if I didn't predict them to make it, I think I'd still probably predict them to win. I mean, this is just a solid-looking team. I can't really gripe about them. For the Rattlers, their biggest gripe is they got Kelvin, but as a franchise, they've never been to a Victory Bowl, and I feel like that's got to mean something for these guys, and that's got to put some form of pressure on them. And I think that might get to them. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I think Punishers win it in Oklahoma City. But yeah, I think that's going to be wrapping up this episode of the Rundown with the Cowboy Crab. I'm the Cowboy Crab. And representing Team Action, I'm the Cowboy Crab, saying so long, everybody.